Hello, this is Scott Moore, the First Lone Scouts of the Baden-Powell Surface Association, and today I'm going to be going over the second class requirements for compass. Compass is a tool which lets you determine the direction of magnetic north for wherever you are. It's a very simple compass. Most of them are liquid filled so that the dial that the directions are on can kind of freely rotate and align themselves with the correct direction. Once you know the direction of magnetic north, you can use a map or orientation guidelines to essentially find your way to your next waypoint or to figure out where you want to head. Along with the compass, a United States Geographical Survey map will, for any particular area, will give you some additional details you might want to know if you're using a compass. Just to bring those in there for a little bit better focus. At the bottom of a U.S. Geological Survey map, you'll have a little indicator which gives you GN, grid north direction, or that's the direction of north for this map, for the grid lines on this map. The 5-pointed star, which indicates true north or directional north, and MN, which is magnetic north, and that's the direction your compass is going to point. Also gives you the angle between those, so if you're going to use one of these U.S. Geological Survey maps with a compass, you know how to adjust your compass reading and your angle if you want to head according to the grid lines on the map or in the direction of true north. One of the easiest ways to do an orienteering course or to use a practice with a compass and a map is to measure out your pace, and you can do this on a sidewalk or any area that you happen to know the fixed length of. Count out the number of steps it takes you to go a certain distance. When I've worked with scouts in the past, we've used a distance of 100 feet. When we measure out 100 feet, each of the scouts walks that distance and counts the number either of steps or of paces. Steps would be with either foot. Pace would be if you just count your left steps or just your right. So a pace is essentially 2 steps. By dividing the distance traveled by the number of steps, you get an idea of how far your pace is. So you can judge distance based on the multiple of your steps or your pace that it takes to go that distance. So you can lay out an orienteering course and give for directions nothing but a distance, which then any scout or any traveler could convert based on the size of their step, and a compass heading. As far as directions, way to determine direction besides with a compass, you can determine during the day, you can determine direction via the sun. Sun rises in the east, so it'll be in the easterly sky in the morning. It'll be in the west in the evening. On cloudy or rainy days, if you see a rainbow, rainbows occur in the opposite side of the sky from the sun. So in the evening, rainbows would appear in the east. In the morning, a rainbow would be in the western sky. At night or just before sunrise, when the sun's not out, you can tell from the glow in the sky where the sunrise is going to occur. So that will also give you an indication of, for sunrise, it's going to be lighter in the east. At sunset or right after sunset, it's going to be brighter in the western sky. At night, you can find the northern star, or you can find any of what they call the never set constellations. The Big Dipper is probably the easiest one to find, and that'll give you an indication which direction is north. As far as compass directions go, the cardinal points of a compass are always orientated with north to the top, east to the right, west to the left, and south to the bottom. There are some maps that will actually give north to the top, south to the bottom, and reverse east and west. These are specialty maps, and we'll talk about those in a little bit, but just so you're aware of them, something to think about. And while we're talking about the different points of the compass, you can think about where that kind of compass designation would come into play. So, these are the 4 cardinal points of the compass: north, east, west, and south. The half cardinal points are the points between those. And the easy way to remember compass points is essentially the directions are named by the cardinal points they fall between. So this would be northeast. This would be southeast. This would be southwest. And that would be northwest. Now when you're doing the half cardinal points between the 4 primary cardinal points, the directions all start with north or south. So east or west are the second components of the direction. And once again, the next step would be the intermediate or the 3-letter points. Those, again, same naming convention, they're named after the directions they fall between. So this would be north by northeast, east by northeast, east by southeast, south by southeast, south by southwest, west by southwest, west by northwest, and finally north by northwest. When you're naming the intermediate or 3rd-letter points, the first part of the name is the cardinal point that it's closest to. The second part of the name is the half cardinal point it's closest to. Thus north by northeast and south by southwest. Now, as far as the compass points I had mentioned before, where I said you will find some have north, south, and east and west reversed on certain maps, those maps are actually star charts. The way to think of that is, if you're facing the southern sky and looking up, well, if you're facing south, east would be on your right, west would be on your left, but as you're looking up, you're looking towards the northern sky, and as you drop your head, you're facing the southern sky. So instead of looking at the ground, you're looking up. So the way star charts are typically drawn are with north and south still at top and bottom, but with east and west reversed, which makes sense because if you would take this diagram and hold it above your head and look up at it, the directions actually line up with where they should be on the surface of the Earth.